in a new series where I share every single ancient stories and world's greatest myths, all recreated in Minecraft. For my very first story, I will be uncovering the tragic tale of Medusa. You may know her as the monster with snakes for hair, but by the end of this story, you might never see her the same way again. Long before the snakes, before the stone statues, before heroes crossed entire kingdoms just to hunt her down, Medusa was simply a young woman who was admired. She wasn't feared. Her beauty became the talk of ancient Greece. Travelers whispered her name. Some even believed no woman alive could rival her beauty. But in Greek mythology, beauty was never just a blessing. Sometimes it is the beginning of a tragedy. Medusa devoted her life to serving in the sacred temple of Athena, the powerful goddess of wisdom and war. It was a place protected by law, where even kings walked carefully, a place no one should have dared to defile. But one day, someone did, and what happened next would transform her into the most feared creature in all of Greek mythology. But before that curse was cast, we first need to understand who walked into Athena's temple that day and who walked out. The day began like any other. The temple of Athena stood proudly beneath the golden sunlight of ancient Greece. The sound of footsteps echoed through the marble halls. Worshippers arrived with offerings. Prayers filled the air, and among them was Medusa, a woman who had spent years protecting the sacred place she called home. She believed the temple was a place where humans and gods could exist in harmony, a place where she was safe. But that safety was about to disappear. Poseidon, god of the sea, entered Athena's temple and committed an act that would change Medusa's life forever. The temple that represented protection became the place where her entire future was destroyed. And the most tragic part of Medusa's story was not only what happened inside those walls, it was what happened after. Instead of receiving justice, Medusa became the one who was punished. Athena's anger fell upon her. The woman who once walked through the temple with admiration surrounding her would never be seen the same way again. Her beautiful hair began twisting into terrifying snakes. Her face, once admired by everyone who saw her, became something people feared, and her eyes became a weapon no one could survive. From that moment forward, anyone who looked directly into Medusa's eyes would turn into stone. But imagine what that must have felt like, to wake up one morning as everyone's favorite, and go to sleep as someone the entire world wanted to destroy. The people who once praised her beauty now whispered only one thing: monster. But Medusa's suffering was not over, because far away from the cursed temple, a young hero was about to receive a mission that would turn her tragedy into one of the most famous legends ever told. While Medusa lived in isolation, hidden from a world that now feared her, far away, another story was just beginning. A young prince named Perseus, determined to prove himself. But heroes don't become legends without impossible missions, and Perseus was about to receive one. King Polydectes gave him a challenge unlike any other: bring back the head of Medusa. It sounded impossible. No warrior had ever returned after facing her. One look into her eyes, even the strongest soldier became nothing more than another lifeless statue. But Perseus wasn't completely alone. The gods themselves decided to help him. Athena gave him a polished shield, one so reflective that he could see Medusa's image without looking directly at her. Hermes gave him a razor-sharp sword worthy of the gods. The gods armed Perseus with everything he would need for a battle no ordinary man could survive. Every piece of the plan was falling into place. But there was one thing Perseus didn't know. He wasn't walking toward a bloodthirsty monster. He was walking toward someone whose life had already been destroyed long before he arrived. And the ending of this story would forever change the way Greece remembered both of them. Perseus stepped into the place no one else dared to enter. The deeper he went, the quieter the world became. There were no birds, no wind, only silence. Then he saw them. Statues, hundreds of them. Warriors, kings, hunters, frozen forever in their final moments. Some still held their swords. Others looked as though they had tried to run. Every single statue told the same story. Someone had come looking for Medusa, and none of them had returned. Perseus tightened his grip on his sword. He knew that one careless glance would leave him standing beside them forever. So instead of looking ahead, he raised Athena's polished shield. Every step, every movement, every breath was guided only by Medusa's reflection. Then, a faint hiss echoed through the darkness. The snakes. She was close. Perseus didn't move. He waited. The sound grew louder, until finally, he saw her. Not with his own eyes, but through the reflection of the shield. For a brief moment, time stood still. Before him wasn't just the monster every legend warned about. It was the woman whose life had been stolen by a curse she never chose. Yet the mission could no longer be stopped. Perseus lifted his sword, and with one swift strike, everything changed. But what happened the moment Medusa fell is the part of the legend that most people have never heard. Even in death, Medusa's curse refused to fade. Perseus carefully placed her head inside a magical sack, but its terrifying power remained. Those who stood against him never saw victory, only stone. Kingdom after kingdom, enemy after enemy, the curse that had destroyed Medusa's life became the very thing that ensured Perseus's survival. And when he finally returned home, the impossible mission was complete. To the people of Greece, Perseus returned as a hero. But legends are rarely as simple as heroes and monsters. For thousands of years, people celebrated Perseus's victory. But another question quietly refused to disappear. Was Medusa truly the monster, or was she simply remembered that way? From the same tragedy that ended Medusa's life, new legends were born. Pegasus, a creature that would one day become a symbol of hope. And Chrysaor, a warrior whose own story was only beginning. Even in Greek mythology, great beauty, great sorrow, and great legends often began in exactly the same place. If you enjoyed uncovering the real story behind Medusa, then you'll love what's coming next. Subscribe so you don't miss the next story, and before you go, tell me in the comments, do you think Medusa was a monster or a victim? I'll see you in the next legend.